What's up, everyone? It is Friday. You made it halfway through September. How did we get here? I have no idea. I am very excited, though. I need the weekend. Let's be honest. Do you need the weekend too? First and foremost, thank you for joining us. If you have not tuned in before, my name is Lauren Sermon. Every week on Friday, I bring on an industry leader, somebody for you to learn from so that you can laugh, level up while you're here. If you are on the East Coast, it's 3 p.m. You are probably done with your day and ready to check out. So tell your boss you're going to learn something today. Come tune in for an hour. Let us know. Comment below. Where are you tuning in from? We don't know you're here if you don't tell us. I see we already have a few people commenting. Thank you so much for showing back up. I have a very special guest with me today. I know I say that every week. You're all special, but I'm super excited to bring on Jonathan Beskin so that you all can learn a little bit about how he really just came in and killed the game with his serial entrepreneurship. We're going to talk a lot about your book and your companies, but Jonathan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Lauren. Excited to be here. I'm looking forward to the weekend too, by the way.
I'm very looking for the weekend. Okay, so everybody look right now at the bottom of the screen. There is a giveaway going on. You can tag Jonathan if you are on LinkedIn to win this giveaway. I know everybody's been curious. I haven't done a giveaway in a while. Last week we were live at SaaStr. I couldn't even read the comments coming in last week. So we will rectify that. We have a giveaway going on. You could win a signed copy of Jonathan's book, The Least Likely Millionaire. We're going to talk all about that today. Jonathan, let me switch us around and make you big. Give us a little bit about you.
Well, again, thank you for the invite. Excited to be here. I live in Boca Raton, Florida. I have a 14-year-old son. We love to fish off the coast of Florida here for a variety of species of fish. Love to travel, love to read and listen to podcasts. And I'm excited about the interview, and I'm excited to share details in the book, and glad to be giving away a few books.
Love it. Yeah. So, y'all, we're going to give away more than one. You just heard the little secret, more than one. So start entering tag Jonathan on LinkedIn specifically. If you're tuning in on Facebook or YouTube, we appreciate you, but you cannot win on those platforms. Hi, Cheryl. Katie Penner in the house. What's up, Katie? You make impossible seem possible. Well, thank you for the compliment. Appreciate that. What's up, Mark Jarrow? You need to come by the co-working space. You're local on the live stream for the Owl app. Shout out Jason with Owl. Got on for 10 minutes. Time for me. Thanks for switching over. Nice studio. Appreciate that. We got people from London in the house. Giano's here. Katie's tagging you. They want to win the book. Mark's South Florida in the house. All right, y'all. We got a lot of topics today. When I showed Jonathan my list of questions, I think he was a little bit like, what? That's a lot. So first, please share the show. Share the show. Let other people know that we are live right now on LinkedIn. We talked a little bit about Jonathan, but we're going to really dive into this episode, get into the heart of the show. If you haven't seen the show before, typically we cover 4 topics. I think we're covering like 6 or 8 topics today. We're covering a lot of topics. So let's just jump right into it. Jonathan, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So we're going to start with persevering through adversity and make you big, talk to you for a little bit. So you talk a lot about in this book, in The Least Likely Millionaire, that you struggled with mental illness, especially early on in your life, throughout your entire life. So can you talk to us a little bit about kind of persevering through adversity and how that's kind of shaped you in your career?
Definitely. So I'm pretty transparent with my journey, both as an adolescent and through my kind of corporate career, and then ultimately becoming an entrepreneur. And something that's an important piece of my story is that I was hospitalized for mental illness as both an adolescent and an adult. And I underwent different types of treatments there. Since I was about 14, I've been on some form of psychotropic medication that to kind of mitigate the symptoms of anxiety and depression. One of the things that I'm excited about with the book that I talk about a lot is healthy obsessions, and how I've learned over the course of getting older and getting better at kind of managing this stuff, of how I can kind of channel that energy of anxiety, of racing thoughts, catastrophization that a lot of people struggle with, and turn that into something positive. So for business, That means how I can potentially preempt what the competition is doing, how I can think about things from different angles I hadn't already thought of, how I can kind of get to the next level, how I have a lot of expertise in digital advertising. So, what can we do different to iterate? What can we do differently to make our products look and feel more attractive to the audiences that we're trying to get to? So that's just one part of my story, the least likely millionaire, that mental illness. There were also a lot of people that told me all the reasons why, because I had these afflictions, because I grew up with no money and had no money, that I wasn't going to sort of achieve anything of note with my life. But fortunately, I didn't listen, and glad to share that detail as well.
I love that. So really you went out and you got a lot of advice, but you were very picky about the advice you actually listened to for you, right? So let's talk a little bit about how do people know if the advice they're getting is advice they should listen to?
Well, I think a lot of the advice I got, and even if it wasn't necessarily from a bad place, just wasn't really that accurate. I mean, there was a lot of conventional wisdom. When I had the idea originally for my kind of primary business, which is Single Swag. So it's a monthly subscription service designed for single women. When people heard about that, they thought it was a joke. So they thought that I had a career in financial services, banking. What did I know about single women? What did I know about a subscription box that kind of had a model that operated digitally, where you had to acquire customers through a website? That I couldn't build a company without raising money. So when I started the company, I started with under $2,000. We did over 60 million in under 5 years, and I never raised money. So I think so many people told me all the reasons why it wasn't going to work, and I think there's a lot of inherent kind of negativity. And if people haven't seen you done something, or if they haven't done something themselves, or if they have kind of a stereotype mindset where, if you don't know digital advertising, you can't teach yourself digital advertising. I was able to do that. But all these people who really didn't have that kind of foundational knowledge of being able to, understand how all that works, they just were sharing their opinion and doing it in a pretty overt way that was like, this is never going to happen. Like, who are you? You don't know anything about this. And fortunately, I didn't listen. I mean, even at the beginning, there were lots of times I wanted to quit, because some of the people that kind of told me this stuff that wasn't accurate were people that had some level of success, and people that told me that I needed to raise money, that they had raised money for a business, and that may have worked for them, but that doesn't need to be the path. There are ways to do it where you don't raise money, where you're willing to figure things out on your own, where you're willing to kind of have that bootstrap mentality. And fortunately, I was able to do that.
I love that. Lauren Gale says, "Isn't it great how people have so many opinions about your life?" She said that's them operating from their limiting belief systems. And then every time you succeed, it makes them look bad to themselves. Lauren, you get it.
I agree.
April Palmer in the house. What's up, April? April says gumption and grit will take you pretty damned far, even on a shoestring budget. April, meeting you in person was one of the highlights of my week last week. I just need you to know that.
That's
Um,
damn right. Damn right, April.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Emmy showed up. Emmy's here. What's up? Thank you. LinkedIn user who said deep breath. Can you let me know who you are? I don't know why it's saying LinkedIn user, but yes, deep breaths. We need those when people are telling us that our dreams aren't going to work for us, right? What's up, Cliff? Thank you for showing up. I'm assuming this is the same person. I don't know if you noticed this while you were talking, but we got a number of people commenting that they're appreciative that you're talking about your mental health challenges, because we do have to stop stigmatizing mental health. So it is inspiring. Thank you for sharing this with us. April, I adore you too. Send me your calendar link or text me your phone. Give me your phone number. Let's go. Okay, so you talked a little bit about your business. Let's jump into that, right? So early on, this is obviously a show on LinkedIn. Tell people what you were doing before you got into single swag and the subscription box industry. What were you doing first?
Hmm. Nothing very exciting. So I had about a 10-year corporate career in financial services. I went to undergraduate at Florida State and I studied finance, and I kind of took a job at what they call Seminole Futures, which was they had companies come and interview on campus. So I took a job in banking. I kind of did some commercial credit training. I got some securities license. I was a branch manager. I did some jobs in marketing for banking. Always felt like I was capable of doing something more, never really liked or connected with a lot of the individuals and kind of groups that I was working with in the corporate world. And then I decided I was actually looking for a new opportunity, and I decided to go to business school. So I enrolled at FAU in the executive MBA program, which is designed for working professionals. You have about an average of 10 years of working experience. You go to classes on the weekends for about 2 years. And I complete that program. About halfway through that program, I decided I want to start a business. And a lot of the curriculum is based around business case studies. So studying companies like Birchbox, Netflix. And I really got in my head that I wanted to start a company with a recurring revenue model where we were going to be able to automatically charge consumers on a regular basis. And that was kind of where the idea originally started.
I love it. So when you went back to business school and you're doing that, was the idea really to start your own company at that moment, or was it to just figure out a new path?
Yeah. So when I started business school, I found that I was applying for jobs or opportunities with just my undergraduate finance degree, and they were looking. A lot of these companies were looking for an advanced degree or a professional degree, like an MBA, like a graduate degree. So that's really my mindset when I started that program. When about halfway through the program, like I said, based on a lot of those Harvard Business Review case studies and some of the way the curriculum was designed, I decided I want to start a business. And I really shifted my focus to kind of maintaining my professional career in the job I had at the time while engaging in what started as a side hustle of single swag, which eventually led to a lot more.
I love it. So at what point did you know that it was time to really bet on yourself and leave that corporate career when you were in single swag?
Well, fortunately for me, that corporate job was a remote job, and this is like even before COVID, when remote jobs weren't as readily available, particularly in kind of a uh, antiquated, kind of older historical industry like banking. I had a job that was kind of regulatory compliance. It was a lot of document review for a regional bank, and it was a remote job. So I didn't have to be in a physical office. So even at a point where I was making significantly more money from my business than I was from the job, I kept the job. I mean, I'm a single dad. I have responsibilities. So I always was fearful. And even the whole time, I mean, now the business has been successful. I've kind of changed my life, but the whole time I was growing the business, I thought something was going to go wrong. And I always had this paranoia, often irrationally in some ways, but paranoia that something was going to go wrong. Something was going to go to essentially F this whole thing up. And I was going to need that job. I was going to need the corporate career. Fortunately, now I don't really see myself ever having a corporate job again. But that was kind of my mentality. So to answer the question, ultimately, in my long-winded way, it was about 2 years into the business that I kept that job while I was doing the business. But again, it was even I was making like triple to four times the amount of money from the business, even at that time, than I was in that corporate job.
So if you were talking to someone right now who's maybe in a similar position and they have started their own thing and it's growing and it's doing well, but they're still holding on to that corporate, in my opinion, security blanket, what would you say to someone in that position right now?
Well, I think each situation could be unique. So I think there's different variables involved with people's families. Again, I was in a unique situation because I was in a remote job. If I would have had a job where I needed to be in an office and I needed to be around other people, and I couldn't be constantly on the phone. I couldn't be posting on social media, which is a lot of what I did early on to kind of cultivate a community on Instagram. I would have left earlier. Fortunately, I was in this position where I could kind of double dip a little bit but that's unique to me. Other people may have unique family situations. What I would tell people is that I would always recommend, particularly if you need the income from a corporate job and you do aspire to be an entrepreneur, aspire to eventually get out of that and be a full-time entrepreneur, is that to start as a side hustle. And it kind of gives you even some leverage or flexibility that if your initial idea fails or doesn't get off the ground, you still have some security tied to that. But so I would definitely recommend that. But everyone's different. Every situation is unique.
100%. It's got to be unique or it's not your own journey, right? All right. Speaking of journeys, I got some fun stuff here. Let's talk about when you started your new journey. And I'm sure when you first started, your subscription box didn't look like this, right? So let's talk about how it grew. And I'm going to open it and show you guys some stuff in one of the single swag boxes. So let me make you big. Talk a little bit about single swag while I unbox this.
Yeah, so Single Swag is the first and largest monthly subscription service designed for single women. And as we've scaled the business, we found that not everyone who signs up is necessarily single. We don't verify relationship status, anything like that. What really helped the business scale, though, in a crowded space was having that singles differentiator. And people don't necessarily recognize that more than half of the world and US population of adults are single and over the age of 18 are unmarried. People know that, the prominence of divorce, so more than half of marriages end in divorce. It kind of is what it is. And it's a large demographic, and no one else was focusing on a business marketed to that. So it's really a marketing strategy towards single women. And that's what kind of helped scale the business as quickly as it did. This business, I think I mentioned, was top 200 in the Inc. 5000. We were number 181 in 2020, and then the top half of the Inc. 5000 in 2021. And essentially, if you sign up for the service, every month you'll receive a box of full-size women's lifestyle products. The products are from categories like organic skincare, cosmetics, jewelry, fashion accessories, books, delicious treats, and a lot more. In addition to that, over the last, for the first 4 or 5 years of the business, that was the only offering we had. So we had a subscription service. You could sign up for either month to month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month. And we have 2 different size box options, Single Swag and Single Swag Petite. We've added a shop in the last couple of years, so people can actually, who don't want to subscribe necessarily, can buy past boxes, can buy mystery boxes, can buy any individual item that was featured in our boxes, and that's all at 50% off. And then in 2020, I acquired another subscription box called Paradise Delivered. And Paradise Delivered is really essentially the same concept, oftentimes the same products, marketed in different ways. So this is marketed as a vacation-inspired experience to enjoy from the comfort of your home. What made that really great timing, and this is kind of lucky in some ways, lucky and not, I feel bad saying lucky because like COVID is like, not a great thing, but people were home, and I started marketing that business right when COVID started, and it was a vacation experience from the comfort of your home. So that's it.
Genius. We all needed it back then. And still need it. He promises he's going to show me one of the Paradise boxes eventually, y'all. I haven't seen one of those. And I guess he'll be kind enough to give us one of these to give away in the next show. So y'all, this stuff is actually really nice. I'm already wearing the bracelet out of the box. It came with a necklace too. It just didn't really go with this shirt. But I will tell you, the one thing that I noticed when I opened this is this smells so good. Like the whole room smells. So definitely, I think these are, I mean, it looks fun. I like it. I like the lip oil. I've already broken into the lip oil, y'all. I shared one with someone in the office too. So there was 2 in there. I share. I'm a nice person. Okay. So the subscription box is amazing. That's what led us eventually to writing the book, right? So it's been a journey. we got to talk a few things about the book. We're going to get into the book more heavily right now, but we did have a few people comment. So let's see. We got to go back. So many people. Okay. Yeah, the comments. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. Okay, so the LinkedIn user that I didn't know who it was, it's the one and only Leslie Vanetz. Love you, Leslie Vanetz. Somebody tag Leslie so she knows how much I love her right now. I can't click out of this window. I'm way too blonde to produce my own show. Need help with that next year. Katie Penner, she's so famous. She needs the cover of LinkedIn user. That's true. She is that famous. Carrie, congratulations on 594 days of no coffee or caffeine. That is quite an accomplishment.
Wow.
I could not go a few hours. I'm actually wishing I would have grabbed a shot of espresso before I walked in here today. April says that they say an entrepreneur is the only person who will work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week. That's true. Jonathan, in the beginning, when you first started your business, I know you talk a lot about all the sacrifices you made and staying home and those types of things. How many hours do you think you worked in the beginning when you were trying to get out of a 40-hour-a-week job?
An incredible amount. So I actually used to tell people, and people tell this to me sometimes, and I kind of take it with a grain of salt because I used to tell people that I couldn't function on very little sleep and that I needed 7 to 8 hours to be able to function effectively and be a normal adult and kind of go through the motions of life. I think what I learned from this business, whether it's healthy and it likely is not healthy over the long term, is that I was able to function at a pretty high level with not a lot of sleep. So I had my kind of day job. Fortunately, it was a remote job and I wasn't working 8 hours a day. It wasn't like a 40-hour-a-week thing. I was able to complete the tasks that I needed to get done within a much shorter amount of time. So let's say an hour or two a day on that job. But then most of my time was focused on the business. And like you said, I really made a lot of sacrifices. So I stopped watching a lot of TV. I was a big TV watcher, big into lots of different shows and movies. I stopped going out with friends. I kind of went dark on a lot of people. And a lot of that was because I really had to teach myself a lot. So I think one of these, conventional wisdom nuggets that people may try to throw out about you, well, what do you know about something like digital advertising? I knew nothing about digital advertising. I invested hundreds of hours into teaching myself digital advertising. So I didn't really have the money to engage a third party digital agency. So I had to learn it myself. And even entrepreneurs that I kind of coach now or talk to now that say, sort of similar things, that they don't understand it. And even if they do have the resources to hire people, I think there's a lot of value in doing yourself, because then if you ever get to a level where you do need to hire someone, it gets you kind of have a more sophisticated operation, a bigger company, and then it's not feasible for you to do everything. You're going to understand these fundamental principles. I think a lot of people have a business or a product and they may not understand digital advertising, and then they have a salesperson who works for an agency or is a consultant that does understand it, and they're trying to articulate or share concepts or ideas with you that you really don't understand. And I think there could be situations there where you get taken advantage of if you don't understand the metrics and the analytics of this. I think establishing that foundation knowledge. But I was like engulfed. I wanted to change my life so badly that I was willing to do these hard things, that I was willing to not spend time, and that I was willing to exhaust every waking hour that I had into ensuring this was successful. And people talk about luck versus hard work. I listen to podcasts all the time where at the end of the podcast, every time he asks, well, would you attribute your success to luck or hard work? I think there's definitely a small element of luck, but I'm convinced millions of people could have had this idea, and some did prior to me, for a single women subscription box. But I was willing to stick with it, to work harder, to do more myself, to figure it out and never give up, that some people just aren't willing to do.
I love it. I tell people all the time, you know what it feels like to quit. Why don't you keep going and see what it feels like not? Okay, what's up, Daniel? Daniel showed up. Hi, Daniel. Appreciate you. We got a mean comment on YouTube about how they don't like my YouTube channel. We're gonna just skip that one. Um, number one, Lauren fan reporting for duty. Love you, Daniel. You're the best. Okay, Alexa's arguing. They're arguing over me. That's great. I love you guys. Oh look, my mom showed up. Hi, Mom. Thanks for tuning in and watching the show.
Hi,
Love
Mom.
you so much. They're literally gonna fight in the comments. We got people telling jokes in the comments. Why was the hamburger afraid to cross the road? It would get Sam. Oh my gosh. Okay, April. I send the 3-month subscription to my friends when they have a big breakup, and they are always a hit. Look at that. There you go, April. Love it.
Thanks, April.
So weird. All of a sudden, seeing replay. Yeah, sometimes LinkedIn does that, y'all. It's a little weird. The show can glitch if too many people watch live. So thanks all for tuning in, but just refresh and it should pop back to right where we are now. What's up, Joshua? Thank you for tuning in. Sorry, we had some new people tune in. Okay, you guys are amazing. All right. We're gonna go into more topics. So next thing I want to talk about in the book. So I read the book. If you are watching, it is a very good book. I will tell you, I think I like it a little bit more because I live in the place that you're talking about in the book. So when you mention some of the places, I'm like, oh, I've been there, or oh, I know where that is. So if you read this book and you don't know, come visit me in Boca and I will drive you around to all the places that he talks about in this book. But let's tell people a little bit. So in Boca, I'm not from here originally, right? I know you are, but I'm not from here originally. So tell people about Boca. Where's the money in Boca? Where's there no money in Boca?
Yeah, and one thing I'll say about the book is now the copies that you order, you got a little bit of an older copy, have the Wall Street Journal bestseller kind of seal on there. And we've also been #1 in multiple categories on Amazon. So I got to get you an updated copy.
What do I have to do to get a hardcover?
Yeah, we do have paperback and hardcover and electronic on Kindle. Basically that's another part of my story, the least likely millionaire, and how I developed kind of an immense chip on my shoulder growing up in Boca, where I live now. With a single mom who was a teacher. So I was an only child. My mom taught elementary school for about 40 years. Fortunately, she retired early to come work in my business when it started to take off. And I was just treated differently. So I share some specific examples, but just to a few things that happened on a regular basis were that I was hanging out at different kids' house and country clubs, and people knew about me and my mom, and they would ask very derogatory questions. Some kids would get invited to stay for dinner. I never would. Whenever there was a group of boys that got into some type of trouble or something went wrong, I would always get blamed, and sometimes I wasn't even there, and I would get blamed. So I think people made a lot of judgments about me. People definitely did not think I was ever going to be successful. And I think because of a lot of these things happened at that time, I wouldn't have necessarily thought it over, because I really acted out a lot as a teenager. I got into fights. I got suspended from school. I stole my mom's car when I was 15, before I had a driver's license. I just did a lot of really not smart teenage things. And now I have a teenager, a 14-year-old son, who I'm trying to prevent in a lot of ways from going down a similar path. I mean, he's growing up in a much more privileged way than I did. And that's a challenge too, about how you can keep your kid, or in my case, keep him from becoming that type of person that really treated me poorly and that wasn't nice to me, and kind of led to developing all these kind of negative thoughts that I have over time. But yeah.
So I know you talk about it in the book, but let's talk about it right now on the show for everybody. You really dive into harnessing all of your mental illness challenges and turning them into what you call a healthy obsession. So for people watching, kind of explain to them how you came up with this concept and how it's worked for you all these years.
Yeah, so I think if you suffer from things like anxiety, racing thoughts, catastrophization, which quite a few people do. Not everyone always talks about it. It's not something that goes away. So there's things you can do proactively to mitigate the symptoms. You can take medication, you can exercise, you can engage in mindful activities that kind of keep your mind occupied on something. But it's something that, in my opinion, is kind of like any other disease. It's something that kind of stays with you, and it's biological. So if you know you're going to have these symptoms of racing thoughts, of thinking this way and kind of intensely, why not channel that into something positive? Use that energy to focus on something like a business at such a high level, thinking about it from all these different angles that will help you get to the next level, and really making that your kind of discipline. I'm the type of person that if I don't have something to focus on intently, I get more anxious, I get more depressed. Sometimes it's even helpful for me to be overwhelmed and feel overwhelmed and have a lot going on and not be upset about it. Know that it's good to have things going on. It's good. I'm not someone that, regardless of how much money I have, is going to retire because I just feel like I need to keep my brain occupied on something. And when it's something that's an exciting business that you're starting from nothing and building into something serious, that's a great, very healthy thing to do.
Would you say that most of your healthy obsessions revolve around business?
No, I think healthy obsessions can be applied in a number of different ways. I think prior to starting my business, I was a serious marathon runner and triathlete. And I wasn't thinking about it in an active way, like I'm kind of articulating it now or wrote about in the book. But I was using a lot of these same principles of healthy obsession towards that. So I was very regimented in thinking about a training schedule, about nutrition, about yoga, about different types of race preparation, and doing all this to perform at the peak level and having that level of discipline and thought process behind it. So I think it can be applied to anything. So if your goals are to change your life in meaningful ways, whether that's weight loss or starting a business, I think in the book, there are some actionable steps to take concepts, from ideas to execution to reality to at scale. But there's lots of other applications for the concept of healthy obsession.
100%. Joshua says, tell him, Jonathan, put some respect on that book.
Damn right. Somebody said damn
There
right.
we go, Joshua. Lauren says, persistent, consistent, resilient success. Y'all, tag Jonathan on LinkedIn to win a signed copy of the book. Liz, it's okay that you're late. We're just happy you showed up at all. Liz actually does a conference with authors and speakers. I think you should probably connect with Liz. Liz, let me connect you two later in the show. Aaron says, only children from single moms and are neurodivergent represent. There you go. All right, you got some people cheering you on in the audience.
Amazing.
All
I
right.
love it.
I love it too. Okay, we have a lot more to talk about. You just talked about, so I'm just gonna jump there really quick. We're gonna jump ahead of my one that we were gonna go into because you brought it up. So I want to talk about the key takeaways. Every section of your book, you have a key takeaways section, and it covers to learn, reflect, and act. I'm on page 125. I don't know if that's the same page you're on. But the one thing I really like about the book is that I'm typically a person who I'm dog-earing pages and I'm like, oh, I want to come back for this or I want to come back for this. But I didn't feel like I had to. I felt like I did in the first chapter before I realized this was going to be here. But it's actually really nice to be able to come back and see. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's kind of weird for but to have a whole page in each section where I can come back and have notes of what I learned, what I covered. I'm a speed reader. So I think I read your book twice because I read it, don't comprehend it, read it again. But being able to have the section of learn, reflect, and act. So where did that come from when you were writing this book? Was that something that you always knew that you were going to put in the book as a takeaway, or was that something that someone gave you that idea?
Well, I'd never written a book, and I did have a little bit of help. I mean, it's my story, and I'm very excited and very happy with the eventual output of the book. But I had some people help me, and with this particular thing about the key takeaways at the end of each chapter, it kind of developed after I read the book initially, and it was something that I added later. And I thought it was important to kind of summarize each chapter and kind of particular key points. Some of the ways you can learn is to workshop different things, write certain things down, and it flows very well. I've heard from a lot of people, not just my friends and family who have been generous purchasing the book, but we've been very successful in a short period of time advertising on Amazon and going through some other sales channels that even people who don't regularly read paper books anymore were able to get through the book quickly or didn't realize how engaging the story was, because it's really a lot of memoir and very engaging stories about live action fights, bank robberies, which I was a part of, some very irrational paranoia that happened live in a classroom in high school, to these actionable takeaways. So that's really what I'm excited about, to get the story out there, which is unique with some of the mental health aspects, some of the things that I had to deal with and overcome, which make for a good story. But also, I'm hoping that people can take inspiration from the book, that there are things, challenges in life, even seemingly insurmountable odds, that they will be able to overcome, and they will be able to persevere and get to the other side and maybe even become the next least likely millionaire.
I love it. If you're watching right now, I just dropped a link to purchase the book in the chat. All right. Elizabeth says, congrats on the book. Congrats. She does the Books and Music Festival in Palm Beach County. She's a former librarian. So yes, that definitely. Lauren says that her healthy obsession for the last 2 years has been building a 900 square foot tile mosaic labyrinth in my backyard. Lauren, we need pictures of that.
I was just going to say, I would love to see what that looks like, and I maybe even learn more about what the different variables involved in that healthy obsession were.
That's really cool, Lauren. Okay, Lauren, so if you're still watching, have you always done tile mosaics, or is this something that's new that you're like just learning for the first time? Because I'm always curious on that. Is this like something new you're teaching yourself, or is it something you've done your whole life? Okay, and then there's the link, y'all. I dropped it in there. I'm so proud of myself. I actually clicked off the screen and didn't lose the whole live broadcast. So yes, Elizabeth, we want pictures. Lauren, send us, love to share. Thank you, Lauren. Send them to me. We will post them. I will throw it up on the next live show or something so everybody can see it. Okay, so we kind of went backwards. I know we talked about the key takeaways, but I really do want to talk about the journey of writing a book. So I know I have people in my audience who, I have founders, I have people who've started their own software companies. I have women who have left toxic jobs and done their own thing. I have a bunch of people who I'm sure have thought about maybe one day I could write a book. So really, one, where did the idea come from of writing the book? And then two, let's walk through the journey of how you go about actually going from this is an idea in my head to, look, I have a printed copy and it's got a bestseller thing that I don't have, and go buy it on Amazon.
Well, I was really looking to communicate my story, and it actually started in a weird way. And of my son, who definitely would never be a part of this podcast, or really wants nothing to do with me, period, at this point, is like a normal teenager were to hear this, he'd be, mortified. But I went viral on TikTok. And and this was kind of prior to even the concept of the book, me kind of using native TikTok trends and music and kind of sounds that were trending, and putting it into their format with pictures, from kind of concept to, printing of our big boxes, to big assembly lines with conveyor belts of boxes. And I put that on TikTok, and I had multiple videos with over 1 million views. I had videos with over 100,000 views. I cultivated a decent sized following on TikTok. And through that, a lot of people reached out to me, and they wanted to know more about my story and more about my origin story, and that if I offered things like coaching or mentorship or different things like that. So that kind of made the initial idea. I think one of the things I'm attracted to about the book is that it's kind of a legacy thing, regardless of whether I, profit from it or do anything like that. That's something that's always going to be there for my son in the future, and family, and it just is out there. Also, I really wanted to, it kind of goes along with what motivates me. I want to continue to prove people wrong and show people that they were wrong about me. Sometimes it's not always the healthiest to be motivated exclusively by that, because it's kind of a never ending cycle. But, when I told all these people I had an Inc. 5000 company in the top 200, I brought an idea from a company that was an idea in my head to doing over 16 million in revenue a year and 80 million in 6 years. So I did that. F you, this is what I can do on my own. And a book is another way to do that. Now the book is a Wall Street Journal bestseller. Now the book is #1 in multiple categories on Amazon. So I think there was some element of that as well, if I'm being honest. And I think I'm looking forward to exploring different ways that I can get my story out there through the book, or using the book as a catalyst towards having a course, putting together a mastermind group for people that want to change their lives, want to engage in healthy obsession, that may need some extra coaching, may need some extra assistance to kind of get to the next level, and using that. And really, I'd love for the book to go viral and be a big seller. I think what I've learned, though, is that even if you sell a substantial amount of books, just for people who are thinking about this, you're not necessarily going to make a fortune on the book. So I think it's important to have a well thought out strategy if you're going to invest the time and potentially money to write a book. You may engage like a ghostwriting company or company that'll help you get it published, to really have a strategic plan about what you're going to do to kind of monetize the book and really have it be something that can create some income potentially.
So how long did it really take you from idea to conception? How many times did you guys have to edit and go back to the drawing? Like how long do you think? So 3 months, 6 months, 2 years? I don't know. How long?
2 years. Good
Okay.
guess. So yeah, I mean, approximately from start to finish, it was 2 years. Countless rounds of editing, countless amount of times we're reviewing, going through small amounts of punctuation. Before the book was written, there was kind of a outline of the book that I had to kind of get behind, and kind of, so I had someone help me put together an outline. So this is how this is how the story is going to be laid out. This is how things are going to flow. And then once I kind of got to that, then it's about writing the actual book and adding different content. It involves research. There's like anecdotal information. There's the right type of citing. I think if somebody has never written a book, I would certainly recommend working with like a professional service, which I did, which I won't recommend because the company has had some issues, since I did that. But ultimately, I'm very happy with the output of my book. I think the people that were involved in it were very talented individuals that worked closely with me, but ultimately it's mine. I had to approve absolutely everything. I had to be involved in a lot of the writing and editing, and I had to commit my own time to doing that at a time when I was also kind of managing a lot with my son and with my kind of core businesses. So it's definitely a big undertaking. I'm very glad that I did it, and I'm glad that it's over. People have already asked me, when is the next book coming out? And not right away or anytime soon at this point.
Not right away. Not right now, y'all. Give him some time. Okay, well, I think the book is incredible. Y'all go buy this book, or tag Jonathan and enter to win a signed copy. But the book, in my opinion, I get why people are asking you for another one. I'm sure you'll have something else to talk about. But let's talk about, I mean, I guess you already kind of brought it up, but like, what comes next? You talked about kind of a mastermind course and classes. I know that you and I talked off camera. I know you're working on maybe an audio version of this book. What is really next in your opinion after the, hey, I wrote a book?
Yeah, well, the first point, the audiobooks are for people that do kind of consume their books, audiobook on Audible, which is quite a few people out there. There will be an audio version of my book released before the end of the year. It will not be my voice because I kind of don't love the sound of my own voice. And it's actually substantially more expensive and obviously time consuming to write. Essentially, a book of this size is about a 5.5 hour audiobook or a 5.5 hour listen. And it would take, similar to kind of putting the book together, lots of rounds of voicing it over and editing and getting out all the little sounds and all the little voice changes or licking of the lips. And it's a whole complicated process, which I won't get into. But so what I do on a daily basis is I'm still very involved in my two core businesses, which are Single Swag and Paradise Delivered. My role has kind of evolved into the chief marketing officer. So that's really, I do everything creative for the business. So I write a lot of the ad copy. I have a lot of expertise in the digital ad platforms, particularly Facebook, Instagram, now TikTok. And I'm not talking about, I have somebody that helps with the organic posting side, but I'm the paid media. So I'm managing all the paid channels, and on Google, I write a lot of our emails. I put that content. We have a very large email list for both businesses. So I'm involved in that. That takes up a lot of time, but I'm looking to do more speaking. I'm looking to share my story with larger groups. I've had some success with that initially, but the book only came out under a month ago, so I'm looking to continue to get the word out there. And as you mentioned, I'm in the process of developing some offerings. So by the end of the year, I'm hoping to have a course that's really built on a foundational model from the book. That's a step-by-step plan to engage in certain activities that are going to get you to taking your concept or your idea to reality, to execution, to the next step. And then also creating a community around that, hopefully, of entrepreneurs that want to come together and share ideas and resources.
Definitely a bunch of entrepreneurs on LinkedIn. So good place to do it. All right, y'all. I don't normally do things like kind of crazy, but Lauren sent me this picture of her tile mosaic, and I'm gonna try to share.
We need this.
I'm gonna try to share my screen and show you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm not good at this. Okay, can you guys see this right now?
Yes.
Look at this. How cool is this, y'all?
Wow.
Lauren, I'm pretty impressed. Look how, like, this is okay. So
do we know where Lauren is located, like geographically?
Lauren, tell us where you are. But there's like a bucket here. So like I'm using this for size reference on like, and like look at the hat on the bottom right hand. Like, so for size reference, this thing is freaking huge, y'all. This thing is really big. Lauren, oh my goodness. I was not expecting this.
I'm also curious, like if furniture goes on that, or once this 2-year plus healthy obsession is complete, what does that look like as far as a use basis?
Okay, Lauren, we have more questions. She says she's done small projects, his biggest one ever. Yep, we shared the picture. Oh yeah, Alexa, signed copy, but go enter right now because we're getting towards the end of the show. Cheryl says it's beautiful, Lauren. What's up, Andrew? Happy Friday. Andrew, I'm sorry I haven't responded to your DM. You need to send me an email. My DMs are insane, but let's chat. I know I need to get on your show. Andrew, you should have Jonathan on your show. Have Jonathan on your show too. Okay, Lauren, out on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington. Wow. Lauren, you're far from us. Really far. We're in Boca. It's as big as a house.
Looks like it.
Are you going to put a house on top of it? What are you going to put on top of it? Lauren Gale, haha. Yeah, Alexa lives over by you. This is for mindful walking. All right. Do you do any mindful walking, Jonathan?
I do actually. I'm going to go on a mindful walk immediately following this call.
That's so funny. Okay. We did the giveaway. We did all of this stuff. We talked about the book. Everybody's entered. This is like we're getting to my favorite part of the show, y'all. My favorite part of the show. Jonathan, do you know what time it is?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Do you know what time it is?
Friday fun something?
It's time for the Fun Friday Fact. Okay. Tell everybody who's watching a Fun Friday fact.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah, you go first. Duh.
Oh, okay. Does the fact have to be about me or just a general fact or
You
something?
watch the show? Come on. Anything you want.
This is pressure. My gosh.
No, it's not. I warned you beforehand. Come on.
Hmm. Well, I have my dog in the office today. Her name is Maggie, and Maggie is going to be very excited to see me because I've left her in my office for the past hour, and she'll be wiggling her cute little butt and excited to see me when I come back in.
She will be really excited. Y'all, we did feature Maggie on the Dogs of LinkedIn episode. Maggie was on the screen. Tell everybody, what kind of dog is Maggie?
So Maggie is a Victorian Bulldog. She's 4 years old, weighs about 70 pounds. It's kind of thick with 2 or 3 C's, and the hips like rock back and forth as she walks.
Do you have your cell phone? Elizabeth is demanding a picture. Elizabeth, the Maggie's in another office, but maybe he could show a picture on his cell phone or something for us. Liz, I'll FaceTime you with Maggie after we are done live so that you can see.
Yeah, let's see.
Show
Let's see if I have.
Maggie.
I have lots of pictures of Maggie. It's obviously not easy to pull one up immediately, but she is a lot.
Let's see it. Oh my gosh, look at it. It's so cute. And then now we actually do know you go fishing because it's your dog on a boat.
Yep.
All right. So my fun here we go. My fun Friday fact. So I this is such a weird fact about me. I am only bringing this up because you just showed a picture of your boat too. So I can be on a small boat all day long and not be seasick, but if you put me on a cruise ship, I'm immediately sick. And it's ass backwards of how life is supposed to be. But small boats rocking in the ocean, let's go. Really large boat, barely moving. No, I'm sick as a dog. I'm assuming Maggie doesn't get sick on the boat though, or else you wouldn't take her on the boat.
She hasn't reported being sick yet.
Okay, good. All right, Liz says, love her. Erin, she's huge. Boat dog. Everybody goes crazy for the dogs. I will tell you, we did a poll on LinkedIn. Are you all dog people or cat people? LinkedIn people are dog people. You are my right kind of people. We are not cat people here. She is so cute. I have Bassett's 50 and 60 pounds, Elvis and Dolly. Liz says that she's offended for Maggie that she wasn't in the show. Liz, I'm offended for Maggie too. But it just wasn't gonna work out today. Yeah, the cruise ship, Liz, we never go on a cruise together. Lauren says could be the company. That's funny. Yeah, she is. She doesn't like big boats. No, I don't like big boats. Okay, so Alexa knows this. We went on a yacht party. Okay, really quick. I brought this too. This is all actually tying in well together. So Alexa, if you're watching, can you tag Storyblock? Storyblock, shout out to Storyblock. We went on a yacht party at Saster. It was my favorite party, but I had to eat Dramamine the whole time so that I could go on the yacht party. So thanks, Storyblock, for the jacket in South Florida. Dogs are better than people, Liz says. Dogs. Y'all, tag Jonathan right now if you want to enter. We're about to do the giveaway. We're at the last few minutes of the show. Gotta go, Aaron. Bye, Aaron. It's been fun. I think you're entered. All right. So we did Fun Friday Facts. We did the show. Last chance. Go follow Jonathan. I'm giving you all of his little tags down below. Like you heard, he's TikTok famous. He's got a lot of followers on TikTok. I think I have like 12. But my Instagram is over 2,000. We're building that one. And my messages are blowing up. Y'all, so many people. Storyblock, we had a blast. Shout out Storyblock. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to do the giveaways. Everybody ready? It is your last chance. You ready, Jonathan?
Yep.
All right. Nope, don't want that. Let's share the screen. We're going to give away 2 books, y'all. Dun, dun, dun. Giveaway tool. Are we ready? Who's it going to be? Winner. It's going to Giano's got his dog in the picture. Johnny, I can't remember your dog's name. I wish I could remember. All right, so Giano gets one. Let's do one more. And it's going to be one of these lovely ladies. Lauren, for your mindful walks, you can now have a copy of the book to stop and sit and read after your walk. So,
or to put a chair on the mosaic, the 900 square foot mosaic tile, and enjoy it out there.
There you go. Just set a chair there and enjoy the book. It is a good book. You will enjoy it. I do promise you that. Jonathan, this was fun. Do you have any nope, not me. Do you have any final words for the audience today?
No, I appreciate you having me on and the opportunity to share my story and what I have going on, and enjoy your show. This is great. Thanks again.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, y'all. We will be back next Friday in studio again. There are only, we're at 42. I don't know. I'm bad at math. Like 8 shows left, 7 shows left. Somebody do the math. There's only like 7 shows left of the year before we are calling it a wrap. If you want to get on for 2024, send me a message. I am starting to send out the booking link for 2024. So excited to get them on for next year. And I also have a number of new sponsors signing on for 2024. So y'all, this was fun. Jonathan, thank you so much. It's been real. And like I say every week, if you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.
Bye.